Okay, so we're going to start fermenting some cabbage here to make some sauerkraut. First thing you do is get your cabbage and get everything out and ready. Peel off the top layers of the cabbage, and then you would slice it to how you want it. I don't want to individually chop and slice all this cabbage, so I got out my mandolin. So I'm going to use it with that. It does a great job. But we did figure out with trial and error here that it's better to cut your head in half. You know, got my half head of cabbage here. And then I'll just slice it down. Don't take any time. It's actually a great stress reliever also. It does a right good job. We used like 4 different blades. Finally figured out that we were just going to use the V blade with the thickness that we was looking for. But feel free to use a food processor or a knife, whatever you prefer. But that there will be the shape of my sauerkraut. Got a whole bowl here. And what you're supposed to do is weigh it out by the pound. So let me get this turned on. Zero it out with this bowl on it. And it's about every 5 pounds is going to be 3 tablespoons of salt in the crock here. It's 1 3/4 pound is the way it pretty much equals out to be for 1 tablespoon of salt. Okay, so there's 1 3/4 pound. Take that, bring it over here to the crock. I have a 10-gallon crock. It's super heavy. My husband has to do all the lifting, so we're going to move it back here for longer. This is just an example here. But you'll take your cabbage, put it in the bottom of your crock, and then you want to push all the air out of it that you can. Ain't no air getting through it, and then it starts the fermenting process. So that's a pound, and 1 3/4 pound. Then I got my pickling salt, and 1 tablespoon of this. And then you just smear that. I'll spread it, I guess, not smear it. Spread it all over, and then do another layer. Give it a good press and again, then I guess. And I'll just do another layer here, and then I'll show you in a couple after I have a few layers going what it's going to look like here. We are 9 layers in, and she's a smashing super hard now because you don't want any air in there between the layers because it will ruin your whole batch. So, if it gets super difficult, you can use like coffee cups or anything else you can use to push pressure down onto it. That also helps. Now we got a scale over here. If you can see it, 1.75 pounds. A little bit left in the bowl. And this is layer number 14 in. And he has been mashing it real good with that nice little John Deere cup and my glass bowl over there. Make sure he gets it smashed up real good. Again, that's 14 layers, and we're about half full with the crock. So we'll see how her finishes off. In a minute, we're going to finish covering her up real good and smashing down one final time, and then of course, we'll show that. So it's got 15 layers of cabbage and salt, and you can see that it's kind of already working. It looks like it's moist in there. It's pulling out the moisture to it. He pressed it down real good with stuff, but then I touched it. So, but yeah, this is going to be good here. But when you're all done with that, then you got to take and cover it. And I don't mean cover the top of the crock, cover the top of the cabbage. So take you some saran wrap, plastic wrap, whatever y'all want to call it. Take a couple layers of it. Always did hate this stuff. And then tuck it in all along the sides of it. That way there ain't no air getting in there. Tuck it, tuck it, tuck it everywhere. It's going to take multiple sheets, but I want to make sure it's good and covered. All the way around it here. And then the key to this is storage next. You got to keep it in about 68 to 72 degrees. It's going to go in my pantry. It'll go in my pantry where stays about 71 in there. Okay. Okay. You can see it's completely tucked in on the sides. But next, you gotta weight it. And to do that, people use plates and anything else you can. But I saw this handy little hack here where you have a gallon bag, fill her up with water, and just lay it over it. And that will keep it all pressed down nicely. I double bag because, well, I buy cheap bags and I don't want water leaking into my sauerkraut brine. So there that is. Weigh it down. Check on it every couple days. Make sure it's all looking good. Ain't moldy. Nothing like that. You have to remove the plastic wrap. Check it. Replace the plastic wrap with all new wrap. Don't put the same old back on it. And then again, cover it. And this crock don't have a lid, so I am using my stone pizza pan. Fits perfectly over it. I'll put it on it upside down. That way nothing gets in it, nothing gets out of it, and it fits it pretty good. So we'll take a look at it again in a couple days. All right, thank you much. Okay, so we got some sauerkraut out of the crock, a little over half a pan full or so, because we're gonna can it into some pint jars for more serving size for our family. Aside from what she just flicked onto the other burner, we are going to, not a boil, but just heat it all the way through. And then I've got jars in the back here in the canner, getting hot, because this will be a hot pack. Mine is really juicy, so I don't foresee needing the brine. But if I do need it, I will have it to put in there, but we'll see here in a few. But anyhow, she's about got her boiling up here again. She's horrible at not flicking it out. This is heated all the way through. Jars are plenty hot back here. Alright, get my hot jar out of my water here. So there. Got my funnel to eliminate messes. Changed to wooden spoons because they're sturdier. And you'll fill this up to about 1/2 inch of headspace. Ooh, this is going to be a mess. Easier said than done, I guess. There you go. It tastes so good. We've already eaten it for dinner. This will help shove her down in there and remove any of the air. But you can see where it's already got juice in it. But the juice will need to be just above the cabbage. 1/2 inch will be about this ring here, if you can see it. 1 inch is at the bottom of it there. But it just calls for 1/2, and then we'll do 15 minutes for all of the pints in the water bath canner. It's water bath because it does have such high acid content. I mean, it produces lactic acid in the fermenting process. So, I'll get some of my juice that was made with the fermenting, not my other kind, because this was some really juicy sauerkraut going here. Then you will take, clean off your rim. These I had wet to get them to soften the rubber per the instructions on the everything that they do there. Got my bands over here on this side because I'm super backward here doing this, and this is hot. But finger tighten and let it, tighten it that way. Put it back down into the water and keep on going. Then with the next jar, after I get them all full, the water is boiling. I will set the timer for 15 minutes. So it's been boiling 15 minutes. Take your lid off. Be careful not to burn yourself with the steam, because that's very painful. It's been setting for a few, but it's still really hot. So how you come in here, I'll get out my pints of sauerkraut, set them out here on this towel. Make sure they're at least 1 inch apart of not touching. That way they can get completely cool all the way around them.
And then it stays 24 hours to be safe that they sealed after cooling. And then, so in 24 hours from now, I'll be able to check them and put them away. But I will take the bands off as I store them to make sure I don't have a false seal with just the lids being on there. Plus the bands are reusable that way. This would be my first batch, and over here in the other pan I got some quartz going. Well, I'm working on getting quartz going. But my stove is not very accommodating to me. But there's 8 jars so far. I'm not even halfway done. So 24 hours I'll have some sealed sauerkraut.